Hey, everybody. This is really exciting. I'm talking to Andrew and Akiva just a few days after they dropped a new digital short.
Hey, yo.
I already forgot everything.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. That's how fast you're living these days?
That's how it turned out. Yeah. Oh, it feels different. It feels different. It's not a nostalgia pod anymore, you know?
Yeah, no, and now it's fresh. It's like the daily.
Yeah.
This is now officially turned into the daily for digital shorts.
Yeah.
First of all, I had heard Sushi Glory Hole maybe 10 months ago.
Yep.
Driving around in Andy's car, and it's the hardest I've ever laughed, maybe, in my life.
It worked on you. Yeah.
Also, the first time I'd ever been in a car that Andy was driving, which made it incredibly novel.
Excellent driver. Rain Man ref.
And been looking forward to it for a long time, and I was just delighted. Keeve, did you direct it as well?
Mike Diva did a lot of heavy lifting, and I would say we did it together.
And you had worked with Mike before.
Yeah, so Mike Diva is a good friend of ours who we met back in LA, and he helped us when we were about to go on tour. He's just a really funny video director, and so we had him do all the background. So anybody who saw us on tour, he did what was up on those LED screens.
Did he do We Fell Off a Horse?
He did.
He did.
I mean, another time that I laughed. Maybe an unhealthy amount.
A very quick tangent for those who didn't see the tour. The quickest way I'll tell it is basically we did a photo shoot for an album. It had a horse. We all three got on it bareback. It bucked a teeniest bit, maybe 5 inches, but enough that none of us had anything to hold on to, and we all fell off the horse. And it was on video, and we gave the video to Mike Diva, and he made a beat with his brother, and it was a little interlude song called We Fell Off a Horse that played, and then, you know, it had like a big metallic 3D horse shooting lasers by the end.
Also, it is caught on camera, but exactly how you want that moment caught. It wasn't being shot like it was a movie.
No.
Someone was just sort of getting BTS stuff of a photo shoot.
Yeah, it was on an iPhone.
And so it was really great. Yeah, you guys fall off the horse, and it's like immediately it's like,
yeah, and
you know,
screaming.
like,
Oh, yeah.
It's like Cloverfield style footage, found footage.
It was our Cloverfield.
it was your Cloverfield.
And then Mike, when me and Andy started doing Bash Brothers, we were like, this is a lot of heavy lifting. Who could we bring on? And we brought on Mike. So he co-directed all of Bash Brothers with me as well and co-edited with me and everything. And then we recommended him to SNL, and he's been working there for like 3 years now, 2 years. How many seasons has he done? 2 or 3?
This is his third, I think.
There you go.
Also, by the way, Yorm, I know you weren't in it, but are you just going to sit here this whole podcast and not say anything?
Oh, yeah. Yorm's not here.
I mean, Jesus.
We should probably point out Yorm's not here yet.
Yorm is not
Let's
here.
for that.
I do like that people are listening being like, oh, fuck, Yorm must be mad. He wasn't in sushi.
It is currently 4:35 p.m., which means it's like 2:30 in the morning, I think, in Finland.
Yeah, it's not a good time to get a Finland Yorm for this podcast.
He sends his regards.
Technically, though, I want to make something clear. This is not about Sushi Glory Hole. We've talked about it, but everything has to be in order on the Lonely Island of Seth Meyers podcast, correct?
Yeah. So in about 85 episodes.
In about 85 episodes, because now we could talk about it now and it would be fresh and probably like insightful, but it's better to wait, I think, a year and a half where it's just a lot of, maybe?
I mean, we could talk about it a little more, don't you think?
Okay, good. So I have a question about your look. I feel like I maybe had a different take on what your look was than what everybody then said what your look was. What was the look you asked for?
Wall Street was the first reference, the original.
You know what you guys look like to me
Mm-hmm.
is the dudes in a Guy Ritchie movie.
Oh,
Because you know, a lot of Guy Ritchie movies are like 30-minute montages of people explaining like how they're making drugs underground.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Sushi Glory Hole guys, I think there's a lot of like, basically the gentleman is Matthew McConaughey saying, the first 30 minutes is like, hear me out.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do look like we're like some Savile Row, but kind of experimental.
It's a little more colorful than I think of when I think of Wall Street.
Yeah. Well, we didn't just stop there. We basically pulled, Michael Douglas pictures from Wall Street, and then we also started pulling like cool fashion forward stuff that like ASAP Rocky does, but nobody would have that stuff because that's like really, right off the runway stuff. And we said, we just want to seem off. We're Wall Street guys, but there's something wrong with us. And then they put it all together, and we were both kind of like, oh, these are just actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
In an off way.
It was a little bit back to the thing you said about I Ran So Far, where Kanye thought you were actually looked good.
When Keeve got dressed in his for the first time, I looked at him. This is going to be lost on almost everyone. But I was like, who do you look like? And then I realized it was the old Golden State Warriors color commentary guy, Jim Barnett.
Oh, yeah.
I love Jim Barnett, by the way. Great color commentary.
Do you want to say who else I look like in it?
R. Crumb?
No.
There was a little. It was our crumb if he actually like invested well.
He looked like our crumb before he put the wig on.
Yeah.
I look like Eddie Murphy in White Like Me.
Oh,
When
that was
when-
my favorite moment of the whole week.
When he's in full whiteface. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, there was a moment where the lighting was kind of low, and I walked up and I was like, Keeve, you look exactly like Eddie Murphy in White Like Me right now. And we laughed a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about how there's a whole new streamlined process to shooting shorts now?
Yeah. It was crazy.
Because there's basically just like a location now, correct? That they use every week.
Yeah, it's a huge building.
Yeah, they have sound stages now. That was born of COVID when they needed somewhere to shoot when no one could be on the streets. So they rented huge sound stages and now they do everything there. The difference between when we did them and now is, let me just say, people there might have got bored of hearing us go, whoa, this is so different.
Yeah.
But it is enormous. It's like the difference between 5 people and 400 people. Like, it is exponential.
Were you jealous of it?
In part because it made certain things that were very difficult before very effortless. Like, they just have assigned wardrobe people and assigned makeup people and assigned effects people for afterwards for when you're doing VFX. So there's a lot of things where there's just a machinery to get stuff done. And the SNL crew is so good. And I know I always hear people say that, and maybe I hadn't experienced the opposite, but having experienced the opposite, or just having been in the real world maybe for 10 years, experiencing other crews, when I went back, I was like, oh my God. They are amazing. This woman, Jill, who did the wardrobe, we gave 2 references quickly through other people. And we showed up and she had 8 suits pulled for us, had her favorites laid out on the floor. They're basically exactly what we wore in the video.
Yeah.
No notes. We just tried them on, did it. She understood. She put all the things. We'd be like, oh, should we have a tie clip? There'd be 8 tie clips within a second. And that is not what it's like in the rest of show business. And same with Jody. That's just less surprising because Jody, we've always known, is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But shout out to Jill.
Jody's hair, extraordinaire.
Yeah, Jody's hair, and killed it with those wigs right away. But there's no learning curve. They all know what you're getting at and can jump to it. Whereas anywhere else in the world, there's so many rounds of notes and things move in slow motion.
I also think everybody gets better by working with the department heads, but also the department heads are so good because they are constantly working with very green writers and cast members. And so because Lauren empowers even the newest writer to be in charge of their sketches, the department heads are like, oh, we can't learn how to talk like this person. We have to teach this person how to talk like us.
Yeah.
And so very quickly when you're at SNL, I think you learn how you can just give a little bit of information and the department heads will go off and like make the best choices.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
It was nice to be back.
Yeah,
Who came up with the idea of Sushi Glory Hole to begin with?
That would be Akiva.
I don't know why.
He just came in and just said it.
Yeah, I just said it.
And then I was like, okay. And then he kept saying it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's try it then.
Did I say, hear me out?
You didn't say hear me out. No. And we tried a whole version of it
Yes.
that didn't have any of the hear me out stuff on a different beat.
Yeah.
And it just felt kind of like, yeah, feels like what Chat GPT would do if we punched in Lonely Island Sushi Glory Hole. And we were like, yeah, it's
Right,
fine.
right.
And then we were like, we do like some of these lines and some of these ideas. And then so we started it on a different beat that we ended up using. And then once we started writing, the hear me outs just happened organically.
Yeah.
Because of course those guys would say that before you would even react because they've pitched this 100 times and it's gone bad every time.
Yeah, they know.
But what I like is for guys who it's gone bad every time, they still walk in with a real douchey energy.
They're real cocky.
Oh yeah, they know they're about to kill it.
I want to see almost the pre-scene where the two of you are like, this time we do not show fear. We can do this too. It is a good idea. Good idea. I love good idea.
Oh, Sam.
That's definitely Andy writing that for me. I have to think.
You got nothing to fear. Sushi Glory Hole, it's a good idea. And it's not weird. So hear us out while we tell you what the concept's all about. It's sushi being fed through a hole in the wall. Where you going?
I love hard Akiva. I love when Akiva's like, just like that ice water in his veins, rap persona.
Mean mugging.
Yeah.
Brain dead is how I would call it, but thank you
What
for
do you call it?
Yeah.
brain dead.
Okay.
Like half the time I'm in there like,
There's definitely a little Jose and Mark dynamic on this one.
yeah, some of the Mark McGuire has infected other things now.
Who is a very intelligent man IRL?
Yes, my characterization.
Exactly.
I did love, because again, again, you explain it what it is. And then as soon as you hear Sushi Glory Hole, certainly for me, you like mind's eye it. And yet, so funny the first time somebody puts their mouth up and sushi comes out because it looks just enough like it might be a penis.
We purposely left a few extra frames of anticipation
Yeah.
on the first one of James, where it's just he's sitting there waiting and you're like, wait a second, what's coming through that hole?
You're like, oh, no.
Good.
And then just like a little bit of salmon right away. You're like, is it?
By the way, it looked nice once it came out.
Yeah.
It did. Again, it's the quality is worth the risk, right? I mean, that's kind of, I think, part of the hear me out.
Yeah, that is it.
The quality of the fish is worth the risk, as you say.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of our songs where we come out the gate and the first 3 words are the entire premise. You'll never really learn more than in the first 3 words.
Yeah.
And then the rest is like backtracking and explaining.
I think the dumbest, I mean, again, my favorite thing is like maybe the worst selling points of the business plan, Sushi Glory Hole, are the last 2.
Don't leave at a sex club when you need stamina for sex, but forgot to eat back soon. Sushi Glory Hole at a sushi restaurant where you don't like the food in the back of the bathroom. Sushi Glory Hole.
We're offering a 5-star omakase, like really good stuff. And you might be at kind of a cheap place.
Yeah.
And Devin and Chloe got those things. Like they expressed them perfectly because we've all been there.
We've all been there. I will say I really like the way Chloe sort of leaned her head against the side of the bathroom stall in pleasure.
Yeah.
She was like, that's some good sushi.
That's a really good sushi.
Honestly, there's some urgent poop energy, some diarrhea energy, if I'm going to say the gross word, from all of them. Like,
Dismukes had some real, like, I'm going to go shit my pants.
he
But
has
it was just
to get
like,
in there.
Yeah.
He's slamming the door open. He's flopping down on the thing. He needs the relief of good sushi in his mouth.
Well, yeah, because he forgot to eat.
Yeah.
I don't want to poke holes in Sushi Glory Hole, but it did seem like
It's airtight. Good luck.
you can't be eating omakase in the middle of the street. I feel like Dismukes ate it a little sloppier than like a normal person would be able to.
In the middle of the street?
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, if you got, say, deli sushi or whatever, you'd be able to pick it up and put it in your mouth, right? Without it just like crumbling everywhere.
I mean, I think it depends on the piece.
You know what I'm doing right now? I'm realizing what I'm doing. I'm hearing you out.
There you go. Thank you.
You immediately spoke in a way that made me hear you out.
You haven't left.
How were the NBC censors? Was it running it back again with beloved Betsy Torres?
I did get her on the horn once.
Okay.
When there was a note that we weren't sure about. And I was like, let me just talk to her. And so I took it that one extra step.
And
She was delightful, honestly. And the reason she, quote unquote, won the thing that I was asking about, where I was like, oh, okay, is because it airs in primetime on the West Coast now.
gotcha.
And that is a big difference.
What can you tell me what it was that she won on?
Basically, we had an alternate for the sake. So there's a moment where he looks down at his phone and he chooses, oh, I'll have a sake. And then you see him drinking from a little cup of sake.
Yeah.
We had an alternate where it was like essentially shooting through with like a water gun.
Gotcha.
So it appeared kind of reminiscent of someone was pissing through the hole into his mouth.
Yeah. Because it was a bathroom.
And the phone is very clear and we made it very big so you would not miss it. But when she was like, this is going to be on at, 9:00 p.m. in Los Angeles, I was like, okay.
We were on the fence about it anyway, because we did really like how adorable the little sake cup sip was.
It's true.
Yeah. I guess I was dumb of me when I heard the song. I guess I kind of thought that the sushi would come through the glory hole and then you would take it in your own hand.
See, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it being just, you're being fed.
Yeah. Well, because then
It was always my understanding that it would be shoved straight in.
Yeah. And as my understanding, and again, of glory holes, I'm pretty sure that's
Sometimes
it's almost hands free. I feel like there's an expectation that most of your glory hole stuff will be hands free.
It would be nice, though, if anything that came through glory hole was presented on a flat hand,
Yeah, it's true.
Seth, have you ever seen a glory hole in real life?
I haven't.
Neither have we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have
No.
not. Always hoped to, but never happened upon one.
Just going to the wrong places.
It's possible that I've seen them, but didn't know about it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And didn't put it together and was like, hey, weird.
When you were just as tall as one, a little peephole, you were like, ha.
Oh, yeah.
Before my growth spurt last year.
Yeah. Well, bravo. Do you guys have anything else? And again, we're going to obviously revisit this in 85 episodes, but do you anything else to add about, what did Lauren think of Sushi Glory Hole?
He said, good job, and shook my hand at the after party.
Yeah, he liked it.
Yeah.
It played later in the show than maybe we would have hoped for, but we understood that it was a little dirty.
A little dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we made the song, we were like, will this ever get a video? Videos are expensive. We don't have an outlet for it. So it was just kind of there being like, man, it'd be so cool to do one. And shout out to Lauren because Andy brought it up to him since he's there doing Doug. And he said, okay, give it a go.
But you did go over to the table and say, like, we got you, man. You paid for it.
Yeah, of course.
We got you to pay for it, dude.
You know where we were when we got the news, Seth? That it was going to be on? That like, oh, you're on. And we had to go make the path to 8H and go to where we always stood right under the main stage. We were in a dressing room in your show.
Oh, yeah. You were the overflow dressing room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what was interesting about it?
What's that?
No hand soap.
Yeah, no hand soap.
No hand soap?
No.
And no paper towels.
And went out of the room, went to that sink that's kind of communal in the like bullpen area of the dressing rooms.
Uh-huh.
No hand soap. Went into like 3 other unoccupied.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it.
Yeah.
No way to wash hands.
So what's up with that?
Is that something you do on purpose? Is that the same at your show, or is that just for SNL on the weekends?
You know, it's one of the many budget cuts that is affecting late night television.
No.
But thanks.
First, it was the band. Did it go first?
Band. First, it was the band.
Oh, they got rid of the band first, then the hand soap? Oof.
Yeah, well, the problem was like, what can you cut from the budget? And we cut hand soap, and they came back and they're like, not even close.
Oh, man.
Not even close.
Seth, I don't want this to make you feel weird if you don't know this, but do you know what they do to your main studio during an SNL night?
I would imagine they fill it with sort of maybe makeshift hair and makeup stations for extras.
That's right.
Yeah.
And all the extras were sitting in your audience.
Yeah.
Because I went in there to take a prank photo for you of like, oh shit, the studio's open. I'm going to go goof around on the desk. And then there was immediately 200 people staring at me. And I was like, oh, never mind. Yeah. I'm out of here.
That's such a burn because you love a prank photo.
That's my main thing.
It was taken from you.
Hey guys, Yorm here. Did you think you weren't going to hear my voice in this episode? Well, lucky you. You get to hear me talk about Airbnb. Because support for the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast comes from Airbnb. Some trips are better in an Airbnb when you're traveling, say, with a group of friends, and maybe you're traveling with a large family or extended family, or say you're super lonely in another country, such as Finland, and you want an authentic experience like directing a movie in Finland. Perfect time to be in an Airbnb, which, guys, I am in right now. The place that they have me in here is fantastic. Seriously, the place that I'm in right now is amazing. I have an incredible view. It's walking distance from everything. It's everything I want. It even has its own sauna, you guys, which I know you guys know how geeked I am on. This place even has a separate bedroom, cool loft. Seriously, you can't go wrong with Airbnb. I'm not going wrong with it right now. Couldn't be happier with it. Do yourselves a favor. Get out there. Go exploring. Go to another country. You can find what you want with Airbnb.
Support comes from Liquid Death. Hey, it's Kiva here. You know, I haven't done an ad for the podcast yet, but I had to step up for this one because it means so much to me. It's something I care a lot about, and it's called Liquid Death. What is Liquid Death? Well, it may look like a beer or some crazy energy drink, but it's not. Liquid Death is actually a healthy beverage brand that makes mountain spring water, low sugar flavored sparkling water, and low sugar iced teas too. Okay, but why would a healthy beverage ever be called Liquid Death? Because Liquid Death will brutally murder your thirst, and their infinitely recyclable cans are helping to bring death to single-use plastic bottles. Sometimes I'll just grab a Liquid Death just to freak out Andy and Yorm, and I'll just like walk into a meeting at like 8 a.m. and I'm just drinking one, and they're like, Keith, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm getting so messed up. And then I'm like, guys, it's just water. And they're like, you lied to us. It's pretty good. You can get free shipping of Liquid Death's mountain water, flavored sparkling, and iced tea 8-packs with Amazon Prime. Or grab a can or a case at your local 7-Eleven, Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, or on Instacart. Go to liquiddeath.com/island to check out all their healthy, infinitely recyclable beverages and find your closest retailer. That's liquiddeath.com/island. liquiddeath.com/island. The last time we were all on, Andy was saying to our listeners, hey, I'm going out there to do the show. You were doing it from your hotel on a Friday in New York.
Oh, right. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be on or not.
Yeah, you didn't want to give spoilers because you didn't even know if you'd get cut or what it would be.
Yep.
And in hindsight, we've seen things on Instagram that one thing you were in did get cut, which was a kind of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, House of the Dragon piece. Jost wrote.
Exactly.
Got to do my Legolas.
Next to Jelly Roll.
Got to do my Legolas, and Seth got to say Mordor the way they say it in all Rings of Power and all the movies, and it was very satisfying for me.
Give us that real quick.
Mordor.
So good.
A lot of
And they're all so proud that they're doing it right, and it's like really the way that you're supposed to do it from the books and stuff.
Yeah.
And it made me really happy to get to partake.
Do you think that Jost only wrote it because he was so excited to get your Legolas back out there?
I think no,
Okay.
but I was happy to get to do it again.
But now, Andy, this is a very kind of opposite of your experience on the show, which is you are basically, they've got you there for the purposes of being in the cold open.
Yeah, political cold opens.
This was not your life at SNL.
No.
You were not a guy where I'm definitely going to be in the cold open.
Correct. And in fact, I got to say live from New York with Maya and Dana a couple days ago on the second show. And I was thinking about it and I was like, that might only be the 5th time I've ever done it.
Yeah. There's definitely some people that keep a count online who could tell you who's done it the most.
Okay.
I bet we could find out how many times you've live from New York. Do you remember your first live from New Yorking?
No.
Seth, your point, though, about that we always were the ones that couldn't go to dinner and couldn't do anything because we were always making the shorts. Andy got to have one of those nice, normal SNL weeks where he just had, 2 sketches blocking at normal times. And I heard about that there was a pretty good dinner that was had that last week.
Oh, so good.
We had a really good dinner.
We had a good dinner.
I heard about it 4 times. Andy's honestly kind of reeling from it. I think it hit on all cylinders for him in a way he hadn't experienced, which is New York City, amazing ambiance and amazing food with perfect buds.
And perfect old fashions.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're really good. And we had a 7 o'clock res. This is our new life. I would say we probably never, in the 7 years we overlapped at SNL, we probably never had dinner at 7.
Definitely not.
Maybe a couple late lunches started at 7.
It was heavenly.
And then
divine.
We sat down. We ate a ton of food. I think I had 3 old fashions. I only think you had 2. Is that right? Or did
2.
you?
I cap it at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was a
So-
work week.
It was a work week, but then we rolled out maybe at 9:30, and Andy was like, "Should we go get a drink?" And I really had to say, "No." My kids are deaf up at 7.
And do you remember what I said?
What'd you say?
Oh, thank God.
Well, then the next day, I mean, again, I did have to wake up at 6:30, get my kids to school, go to work. And then I think at 11 a.m., Andy texted Shoemaker and I and said, "Oh my God, been up so long. Just kidding, just woke up."
First time in a while.
Had a great morning, been out and about. Just kidding, just opening my eyes. So glad we didn't get drinks.
Got Queen Bee, though.
You did Queen Bee it. But, Keeve, that was the problem. You came out, but it was old digital short time. So you guys were breakneck.
Oh, yeah. It felt weird. It was Tuesday. I was in the middle of, I'm on deadline on Naked Gun on trying to get the edit in right now. And all of a sudden had to drop everything because Andy was like, it's on. We're on a flight tomorrow morning. Let's go.
Yeah, and you're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the other guy.
And I had a great time, but it was a whirlwind. And then we were back Sunday. So it felt crazy. The other nice thing I'll say that me and Andy, when we were out on the stage and we're watching it play live and we're looking up at the monitors and looking up at the audience and it was playing really, really well, we were both left that thing being wow, I didn't know if I'd ever have that feeling again.
Yeah.
So it's appropriate for this podcast of us being oh my God. It genuinely felt special. And it did feel different. My relationship to all of it felt a little different in a good way, I think, in a healthier way.
Yeah. It was a little bit like time travel also of oh, we're just back in the same spot praying that it lands. And then when it starts to work, you're oh, thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Also, a couple touchstones to the past where you have Maya and Keenan. But I thought the current cast was all super funny in it.
They were.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense? I know I'm putting you in a possible situation. Did you have any sense that anyone was "Oh, wow, this is so cool. I get to do a short"?
A lot of them would say it a lot. And honestly, it was really heartening and nice. I really liked it. I felt a lot of warmth from people in a way I wasn't expecting.
That's really great.
Andy?
Yeah. I mean, there's always the thing of being super flattered versus being like, oh my God, how old are we? When
Right. When we came back in 2016 and did the Finest Girl from Popstar, it felt like people were still in competition with us.
Yeah.
And it was a little like, hey, what's up, guys? And now it's been long enough that everyone there is not.
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, they were here before a while ago, which is correct.
Exactly. So there was more, I felt a lot more just friendly warmth from all the new cast members and writers that I met.
That was like my first year. I remember Aykroyd came back to do something. And I was like, hey, this is my show now.
Yeah. Yeah. It hadn't been long enough.
Get out of my shit, man. It was me. I misplayed it.
Yeah, it might have been an oversight.
I was on like the fourth show. Like, what was I doing? Apropos of not well, except for the fact that I made up a story. Aykroyd was one of those guys. Every time he came back, he would come over to you and tell you something he loved that you did that was such a piece of minutia.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, hey, I love that hit sketch you did. He was like, oh, there was that scene. You did a voice. You did a voice from the Atlantic Midwest. You know, the sort of like, you know, the Atlantic coast accent. You never hear it. You nailed it. And it's just like crazy.
That's the beautiful thing about it coming from people that have actually worked there, though. Like, that has happened organically for me going back. When I talk to the cast that are there now, and the writers even, too, that I know, stuff they've written, it's never what most people would say to them because we worked there. So the things that excite us are much more like what you're describing.
Yeah. Well, you actually, I feel like you're getting it both ways, Andy, because you're both working with the current cast and you get to do sketches of Dana Carvey every week.
I know, by the way, that is the coolest.
Also, it's not Heyday Dana. It is Dana now has a all new, super cracking impression that nobody figured out except him.
That's right. And he got loose with the ice cream, too, in episode 2.
Yeah.
He got me and Maya. We were not expecting that.
He's very fun to watch.
He's so good, man, and such a nice person. It's been really fun, honestly, hanging out with all of them. Gaffigan, too, is great. Like, everybody's so awesome.
Had you ever met Bargatze?
No, we developed a show with him way back in the day, our company, but I don't think I even met him during that time because we were so busy with other shit.
Speaking of shows you developed in the past, you have a animated show.
Yes.
Digman.
Yes.
I did a voice on it.
That's right. Coming this season.
I'm very excited. But another person who did a voice was on my show today, Nathan Lane.
Oh, amazing.
Nathan Lane had very lovely things to say about you, Andy.
That's so wonderful. I have nothing but good things to say about Nathan Lane, the legend.
He also had very nice things to say about the French pole vaulter you played on our show.
Is that right?
Yeah. Nathan Lane also always goes, did you see their new digital short? And he was like, Sushi Glory Hole? Yes. And it was just everything.
No way. That's the best.
It was generally great. Hey, since Yorm's here, and I know Yorm is the one who really hates plugs, but you know what? Since we're real timing the podcast now, it was announced today the release date of my HBO special.
That's right.
Yes.
I saw the trailer. It looks very funny.
Saw the poster.
Yeah, October 26th on HBO.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris Martin from Coldplay did come up and say, where's the third one? That's my best Chris Martin, but
Oh, yeah.
he did ask.
Where's the third one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he calls Yorma, the third one?
Yeah, well, he's like, isn't there supposed to be 3 of you guys?
That's great.
And he was barefoot in the halls, and Keeve told him about JJ Casuals.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you don't wear shoes on the stage. You know what? Our very first sketch was just about that. We knew another singer who preferred to go barefoot on stage. I pitched him the whole sketch.
Yeah, he was delightful.
Yeah.
I saw a supercut of different SNL hosts announcing, and now Coldplay. And it is such a trip how long they have been doing SNL.
Yeah.
Like sort of from like an early Baldwin on.
Oh, wow.
Longer than us.
Yeah, definitely did the show.
Favorite Coldplay song, Seth?
I think Yellow.
Yeah. First thought, best thought, right?
Oh, but you know what? Wait, I have a Coldplay story. Can I tell my Coldplay story?
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's a genuine story. Remember, Polar had a baby like late Friday night before a show. I got a text from her at like 1 a.m. being like, you're on your own tomorrow, kid. Because I had to host Update by myself.
Ah, yes.
And it was terrifying, the very idea of going out there and doing it by myself. And Coldplay was the musical guest that night. And, you know, the first musical guest is right before Update. And the song was Viva La Vida.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the song?
Yes.
And Chris Martin was wearing like a very colorful jacket. Had a lot of like weird patch. It was kind of jacket that like he pulled off and I would never be able to pull off.
Maybe some epaulets.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of garnishes on the jacket. And I was so nervous, and I was watching Chris Martin, and he seemed to be having such a good time, singing a song, wearing his kick-ass jacket. And I just said to myself, go have as much fun as he's having right now.
Oh.
Just like pretend like you're Chris Martin and you're wearing the cool jacket.
Yeah.
And that's literally what that's like, I told Chris Martin that once, like how
Yeah, it gave you the focus.
I just like was looking at him being like, you're allowed to be that happy when you perform. And so I'm going to go do that.
Did you feel that when you did it, or were you consciously aware I'm faking that? But then you faked it till you made
Yeah, after every joke, I'm like, good. That is how Chris Martin would have done it in the jacket. The jacket. Think of the jacket after each joke. Again, it's fun to be like, that sounds like a story about like a 16-year-old giving an oral report in class. And I'm like doing the math. I'm like, 37? How old was I when I had to be like,
public speaking.
just be the boy in the jacket.
Oh my God.
You can also wear the jacket.
Definitely too old to be saying that.
Viva la vida. I do, before I let you guys go here, are you enjoying Doug?
I'm enjoying Doug a great deal. I mean, my first pitch when I got asked to do Doug was, can I first walk out to teach me how to Dougie?
Mm-hmm.
And everything after that was icing.
Yeah. So you feel like you've captured the man.
I mean, it's not a stretch for me.
No,
Just kind of like an upbeat dude who really loves his wife.
it's true. Who really loves his uber talented wife, who could like do things he couldn't even conceive of.
Yeah, a lot of like, I can't believe this.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like the Maya Kamala doesn't get enough. I think it's getting an incredible amount of credit, and I still don't think it's enough credit.
It's amazing.
It's incredibly accurate while also being funny and has energy and moves. And yeah,
The vocal range of moves she's recognized from Kamala is off the map.
I mean, Maya's a killer. We know this.
She's stone cold killer.
You two together is very winning, as Mr. Sheen would say.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for putting it exactly that way.
Good callback.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also don't think that's how Charlie Sheen was using it.
No, it's not. No, he was in the process of winning.
Yeah.
He was hitting like the jackpot. Like, yeah, it wasn't like a winning personality.
Yeah. He was like, oh, I thought I was being winning.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, I fucking drank shark's blood or whatever. A winning personality is what I have. And also the people that I associate with have winning personalities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like just warm and confident and nice. Yeah.
So I established that I heard this song 10 months ago in a car, and it was like fully, like everything about it was done. It was finished music 10 months ago. I'm assuming not one isolated song.
Oh, Seth, what an interesting query.
I'm querying.
Well, truth be told, during the writer's strike, we were sitting on our hands a little bit,
Yep.
doing our proper nothing. And we were like, what can we do? So we did kind of hop back up in the studio, and we did make some songs. Unclear how many, because we're not sure how many we deem releasable, right, Keith?
And there's still a bunch that are half songs.
Yep.
That we're like, God, if we could get some time to go back in the studio, we might be able to crack the rest of that one.
Is there anything, and I'm putting you on the spot, is there anything you fully bailed on? Like, is there anything you've like, we tried it, bailed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Def.
Do you want to throw any out?
Well, no, because like, what if we do like a deluxe edition? You know what I mean?
What
Yeah,
if we really do solve it?
What if we crack
that's
it
true.
like we did with Sushi Glory Hole?
Yeah.
Shorthand for that.
Sushi Glory Hole, we were very proud of ourselves because, as Andy touched on earlier, we had a first chorus fully recorded. It's a full listenable chunk. And it did feel, as you put it, like it was made by ChatGPT. And we were like, that's the old us. It doesn't sound new or like something else.
Yeah.
But it's hard to go deep into something and put it aside after wasting an entire day on it and then start totally fresh the next day on the same thing. The trick is figuring out what to do with them now because we don't have an outlet like SNL. And that, again, was why it was so great that this Doug came up and then this worked out where we were like, oh my God, we figured out something to do with it.
We were like, when is the time though? And then we were all, the time is nigh.
The time is nigh.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
To go to Mordor.
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 To the very depths of Mordor. Sorry for everyone listening. That's hard to listen to.
I like that you guys keep saying, because first came Doug, and then I think that when you meet him, you can give him a real firm handshake, Andy, and be like, hey, without you, no Sushi Glory Hole. Thanks, man. You were the gateway in.
I think that has to be 100% accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very exciting. New music. And it was really wonderful. I was very excited to see you guys doing a digital short again.
Thank you, Sethlington.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And again, this is going to be fun to talk about again when we do the Sushi Glory Hole episode in 2.5 years.
Yeah, when it's further away in 2.5 years, that's when we're going to dish all the fucking dirt.
Well, that's when we're going to get to hear what Yorm's take was.
Oh, no.
He's going to be like, it was wonderful. I was knee deep in Lola.
Lola. Neath the pine. Neath the pines. Little Lola. All right. So I guess next week we'll talk about our first show back from the writer's strike of 7/8, which is Tina Fey. And until then, I love you guys.
Love you, buddy.
Love you. Bye.